Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to another live stream. How is everyone doing? It's Saturday, 14th of January. So it looks like 2023 has started in a bullish run. Everything is going up. Crypto is going crazy. The index is going up. Dollar going down. Gold going up. So everyone is in a good mood for sure. Everyone is in a bullish rally. Super enthusiastic in the beginning of this year. It looks like that's how the market is reacting. We already had NFP 1 week ago and CPI this week, which was a little bit indecisive in the first instance, but then the trend just continued from where it was coming from since NFP last Friday. Hello, my name is Pedro. And yeah, this is my channel. I always do a weekly analysis on Saturday, so preparation for the week ahead. This is what you are doing today, so feel free to ask any questions, or to, if you are looking at any specific pair, asset, comment on make a comment, let me know the key level that you are looking for, and you're going to take a look into it, right? It's trying to find out good levels to look for opportunities next week. And then I also do another webinar on Tuesdays in the afternoon, where I may just do the review of how the market opened, or if you have any more detailed question about specifics of how I look at the market, I can cover on that webinar. So yeah, let's hope there's another interactive webinar, live trading session. Dollar. So I always start with the dollar index. Dollar index is I'm more of a FX trader, so that's usually the market that I trade. But in this live stream, we are going to go through major FX pairs, starting with the dollar index, S&P and the NASDAQ, a little bit of Dow Jones as well, and then we go through each individual major FX, and we can finish a little bit with crypto and Ethereum as well, if you want. So yes, I will start with dollar index. Dollar index, I can have an overview of maybe what major FX pairs are doing by looking in here, and I like to look at correlation. Correlation for me is something important when I'm making decisions, and when I'm analyzing the market, so in terms of looking for opportunities. And what we have in here, right? We have a weak dollar. Since basically the retracement a little bit 2 weeks ago, then NFP came out and continuation to the downside. I mentioned last week we still closed a little bit above these highs. Then I actually mentioned that, in my opinion, I think price would go a little bit further down. It wouldn't just stop where it was in here, and there's actually the chance to continue. First, it reacted a little bit from here during the CPI, went up and just continued to go down. And I'm actually targeting a little bit lower. This is a weekly level. If you take a look into the weekly time frame, there was a little bit of something in there, so it was a good reaction that occurred in there yesterday in here. But personally, I think price wants to go a little bit further down, and there's a chance that we can even take this low before maybe you have a reversal to the upside on the dollar. So that could be also something to pay attention to. Which also leads maybe with the euro, maybe taking a high more on the left side. I don't think he has taken it yet. So yes, a little bit in here. How this looks a little bit compressed. There's maybe some pressure orders left in there. That maybe it can lead to some kind of reversal. But the bigger one, I would like to see actually this will still be being taken. Now, if actually look into detail of what we have in here in the lower time frame, what we have. At this 4 hour time frame, there's maybe something in here at 101.710. This one never really got there. But all this already is maybe a reaction from that one. Yeah, maybe something underneath this level. So prices took this low yesterday before the reversal on the dollar. We managed to take this low. So this is usually around the lower low, around the higher high. There's something, usually some kind of a move like this that initiates to move, that eventually when price retraces and wants to kind of react from there, eventually it's going to take this one, even if it's just for a few pips or whatever it may be. Usually price is going to target this low, touch it, and then maybe reverse after that. So price has taken this one. Yeah, there's maybe something in there still that can go to, or eventually even the lower in here, this extreme of the demand, or eventually we're going to just take out this low and maybe reverse after that. Yeah, I'll be open-minded for the dollar to have some kind of reaction from still within this level, and based on the PA, maybe where are we? Where am I? 2014. Yeah, there's a chance to come all the way back and take this level, react a little bit underneath that one as well. So something in there. I'll be open-minded to see some reactions from there, with the potential of price in the end maybe taking the lower low. We can even see the way price reacted even on the 4-hour time frame. Price never really broke this. Even this week it just reacted from there and continued to the downside. A little bit similar to the euro as well, the way it moved to the downside yesterday. So I don't really see still a proper break higher. Yes, we did broke above this high. We are kind of reacting from this level now. Yeah, maybe new low. It depends how how market's going to open on Monday. Maybe a little bit more continuation to the downside. In this case, during this week, this was a key level that we are looking for. I think I mentioned that on Tuesday, that price could literally just maybe respect this level and continue to the downside. Like this was the previous level of support on the left side, left this supply in here, the natural zone to maybe look for a continuation, especially where those were reacting from. So yeah, CPI just took the supply. Price is starting to compress in a way that is taking every single order behind that is still fresh. So yes, interesting to see how price is going to open next Monday. Personally, I think we can still see a little bit more room to downside, maybe before the reversal. I don't know if there is any big news next week. The earnings season started yesterday with some big banks announcing their earnings. A little bit disappointed on their hand, but yeah, so earnings season has started. That may have some kind of impact on how the indices are going to react for the next few weeks. But yeah, dollar, yeah, I may see a little bit more room to the downside, personally, until maybe start seeing a little bit more of PA to look maybe for a reversal. I'm still targeting this low, to be honest. That's for the dollar. If you have any different views, if you have any key level to look at, let me know. I think there's maybe a little bit more room in there. Yeah, let's first start with let's go to the indices first, and then we take a look at Euro Index and the Yen Index. So S&P, as we kind of were talking about, I think after we broke this level, which we target a little bit the room more to the upside. Price kind of broke it above, went down, retested a little bit, and just continued to the upside. After having so many levels in here of resistance, it was a little bit obvious to one of those levels could work as support and push price higher. Yes, a little bit of a reaction here. The supply was fresh. That's where price kind of reacted a little bit. Personally, I'm looking a little bit even for price to get in here, or for price to even go all the way through the highs. Being aware that yes, NASDAQ, S&P did reacted from this supply level. Maybe the final destination from this low is not going to be even just in here. There's a chance that can actually go all the way to the other extreme. So this could be just a middle kind of reaction, retracement in between middle levels, kind of all the way from this supply to this month, and now price may just continue and it's going to maybe break this high and go to the next level, because it's still in this bullish move in here since the middle of October. Even looking at the S&P, as I mentioned one time as well, or a few times, looking at the higher time frame, we actually broke this triple top. Basically, all the indices around August, they broke the same level. The difference is that the S&P never really got close to the extreme, to the supply level, while NASDAQ actually reacted from there. So there's even the chance that price may have some reaction here, but it can even break out this high before maybe having another good move to the downside, right? In here. At this point, as you can see, all the risk-on assets are going ballistic to the upside, especially with crypto. Hey bro, hi Muzani, how are you? How is everything, man? How was your week? So drinking my coffee, don't want to let my coffee get cold as well, like last week. So yes, more room a little bit to the upside, even if price retraces a little bit, there's maybe something in here that can still maybe take these lows and then price may just resume upwards. You can maybe find some possible setups in the lower time frame, intraday levels, because there are definitely fresh supplies. As you could see, this supply was fresh. It reacted from there during the CPI data. It went all the way down, but then kind of is resuming to the upside. We have this supply in here, maybe the extreme of it, that this week in here never maybe touch it, so there's maybe some reaction there, and eventually we can just continue to go higher, right? This was the reaction from the previous CPI back in December. Then on that day, the day after, we had FOMC, which is kind of what happened in here, and we had this bearish move to the downside, basically until the end of the year, until we start building up this reversal. So yes, the earnings next week, as I mentioned, is going to play a little bit of a good role. There's going to be bank holiday in the US on Monday, so let's see how the volatility is going to play out in the afternoon. Yeah, I think we can have prices kind of still moving strongly. We basically took the high just by the end of the session. I think we can have a little bit more room to the upside, even target above this high. It was interesting actually, because Dow Jones kind of reacted already from there. S&P was reacting from here, and NASDAQ was reacting from somewhere underneath. This is what I mean. So NASDAQ was reacting, looking at this move. NASDAQ was reacting a little bit from this level during CPI. S&P from this supply in here, and Dow Jones was actually reacting from the zone above, from this supply, right? We have kind of three supply levels, like 1, 2, 3, NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones. And in this case, you can see even which one is leading. Of course, Dow Jones is kind of the one moving faster to the upside, getting again closer to this high. Even in the bigger picture, of course, you can see that has been the one with the biggest rally, biggest retracement to the upside. Even broke already August, the high from August. Basically, at this point, NASDAQ is reacting from somewhere in here, and S&P reacted from this move in here, from this high. That's the supply where it kind of moved to the downside. So you can see the difference in terms of the indices in here, which one is performing better comparing with the other ones. But the levels are still there, and you can see that the price still respects really a bit the same levels along the way, right? So in theory, if that's what's about to happen, and maybe you could expect maybe some reaction from here on the NASDAQ. This is where S&P reacted, and eventually maybe from the same supply on the from the Dow Jones. Of course, it depends how price moved away from those levels. In this case, for example, maybe the spike in here this week on the NASDAQ, it may actually have touched the supply in there. So there are less orders in there. Yeah, it touched kind of the supply. So it's a little bit less orders, so maybe price can just break through that level without even reacting. While on the Dow Jones, as you can see that the week actually there's clearly a space between the supply in here and this week, right? So there's literally a space in there. So we had actually that reaction occurring now in here. As you can see, nice reaction from that level. Maybe if this week had already touched that level, like NASDAQ and maybe S&P, maybe price can just break through and go to find the next level above this high, which is actually something that I'm targeting. I'm even looking for price to go higher. What trades am I looking? We'll see. Gold is getting into an interesting position. Euro dollar, I'm going to continue to look for potential again, I'm a counter trend trader, so you can imagine that even if you are working on this bullish momentum on euro or gold or something like that, my mind is keep looking for small scalps to the downside until maybe I start seeing some proper PA that shows me maybe the potential for a bigger reversal. Last week, if you remember, I noticed that the euro never broke the low. So I was actually waiting to see euro actually breaking the new highs before looking for shorts. The yen pairs was an amazing setup this week. It was another one that we mentioned. We are going to take a look at the yen index in a bit, and we mentioned that potential move the yen to the upside, which will lead to the sell on dollar yen, euro yen, and so on. Right, price was approaching that month in here on the yen index. And what you could have taken advantage of from the yen pairs. Those maybe it was the potential setup of the week in there. Maybe you're going to have some kind of reversal, maybe just reaction from here and a little bit more to the upside before maybe some kind of weakness on the yen. There's a meeting going on next Wednesday with the Bank of Japan. There's been a few discussions about maybe shift on the approach. With the bonds as well. Bonds, they kind of capped at 0.5%. It has been trading slightly higher than 0.5% as we'll be retesting it. So maybe something to expect from the Bank of Japan next Wednesday. So volatility on the yen pairs most likely there's going to occur. And yeah, gold, oil as well, strong move to the upside. But yes, the yen pairs were literally maybe one of the best opportunities. From this last week. The pound, okay, I'll take a look in a bit of every asset, right? Pound finally broke that compression, broke that high to the upside. We saw then the reversal yesterday a little bit. I think pound is going to continue to go a little bit higher. So yes, so we'll see what may happen. At this point, everyone looks like it's bullish. Maybe the earnings can change a little bit that scenario if the earnings are worse than expected and if there's a big surprise. Otherwise, you may just continue to see the rally to the upside until maybe the end of the month, until the next FOMC meeting. We'll see. So yes, NASDAQ, as I mentioned last week during the NFP. We were completely bullish or looking. I really liked the level that we reacted from. It was another zone that for a long time that I mentioned that level, this demand zone in here. That as I was even looking for that long for price to go there back in November with the CPI. It left the zone below. It left the demand. They do that for some kind of reason. Looking at the bigger picture, as I mentioned, there's even the scenario that we actually broke this high. And there's the possibility that there's literally the possibility that the indices may just continue to rally, even if you do have some kind of retracement. This single break to the upside on the NASDAQ is the one that's giving me a more bullish scenario comparing with the indices. Again, S&P is reacting from this level as I mentioned, and Dow it already even broke the high. So yes, I could see price going a little bit higher. We had two important engulfs for me. So this is one in a bigger picture, and then this was the second one, right? This one in here, when you broke this high, this could have been the opportunity to go long. And for me, this was the most important low in here. The price that broken below this low, I think we could see new lows in there. So yes, being aware of this, I'm open-minded to see these indices to continue to rally in there, or at least getting closer to this point. Now, meanwhile, yes, we did had some reaction from this level. There's maybe some reaction to occur from this level. This level is also the last demand zone that created out this move to the upside. So there's maybe important structure in here, and of course you have the supply. But personally, I would prefer to see this high being picked out if by any chance we are about to see any reversal. So that's a little bit for my take on the indices. Look for opportunities, maybe something in here. Now we just literally move down, kind of indecision point in here, and move up again. So there's maybe something around this level that can still push price and continue to go higher. Yeah, this one was taken already. We'll see this one. You can see previous high reacted eventually in the future. That's a natural move as a trend continuation. Maybe this one can also be used as well in the future. If not now, maybe the same way that this level was not used straight away in here, we create some kind of fake out, but eventually price went there to touch it and to move on, right? So yeah, maybe it's something in here, maybe something in here. Let's see how the indices continue moving to the upside. But important notice how the market closed at the highs. That's an important point in there. Closing at the highs. So that's my take for basically this US indices. A little bit more room to the upside with potential zones where we can see some reversals as well along the way. But maybe it's just small retracements with the potential to go much higher. Euro index. By the way, what is your view, Musani? What are you looking for this week? Which pairs are you paying attention to? Euro index, as we are looking as well. So initially we are looking for price kind of respecting this high. Now it's reacting from the last piece of supply in there, which is also a valid level in here. So this supply was kind of still a little bit fresh since this high never really reacted from there. And this can be enough to push price a little bit down. Eventually, even though I would prefer to see price going maybe above all these highs, as I mentioned, right? However, on the same token, kind of we had this double top being created in here, and this was an important point, right? A little bit similar to the actually on Wednesday. If you're following these two, Euro index and Yen index, and then if you're trying to look for the opportunity on the trade on Euro Yen, which is basically the combination of these two indices, you literally have the Euro index kind of compressing to the upside, and you have the Yen index compressing to the downside. Literally both of them were doing that, and Euro Yen was going upwards. This literally break to the side, break to the side. Is kind of strong Yen, weak dollar, weak Euro. It's kind of, yeah, it's exactly what the Euro Yen wanted, right? Weak Euro Yen, and you had exactly that timing. As soon as they broke these trend lines that they were there, we had the reversal occurring in there. Yeah, Euro, right? Yeah, most likely. So yes, this Euro, we start to see a shift in here on this Euro index. This was a key level, of course. So anytime price breaks this important level in the important highs and moves a little bit away with and creates a demand in there, that's usually expected to have some kind of reaction. But then eventually this zone in here is important and one of the last zones of battlefields between the buyers and sellers that can lead to a move to the downside. If this level is broken, now maybe the door is open for more move to the downside on the Euro, maybe all the way until somewhere this previous level in here. That can be expected, at least, for price to feel out this compression. Question mark is price going to just do this, or is price going to still maybe retrace higher before going there? In here, there's maybe this level of supply in here can be a good level for the future, maybe to look for shorts. But yes, I think we can start seeing more room to the downside on the Euro index, which can help as well Euro dollar to go a little bit lower. We can notice that we had already this engulfed to the downside in here. Price decided to still go higher. Eventually, we are going to have that turn. Not even sure if this is actually that strong to hold price. Maybe it can be a little bit, but you can actually have maybe all the way down. There's this level. This is fresh. This level in here is fresh. And between this low and this demand zone, yeah, I think we can start seeing maybe potential sells in here, and this is the level somewhere at the top that I'll be looking for price to maybe go there. Maybe in here, maybe just using that wick in there. Yeah. So that's kind of my take for the euro index, and this is dollar yen, the yen index, right? So we can give it a little bit at a higher time frame. I mentioned as well before we kind of created this double top. I mentioned that yes, after taking the double top, there's a high chance that you can have some kind of retracement just to collect liquidity from here. But personally, I was not really thinking that this would be the final destination for the highs. I think price can go and take these ones and going into the next supply level in there, with the potential to go even a little bit higher. It can even take this high altogether and start going a little bit more. However, in here can be maybe something, some reaction to the downside. Let's see as well if where price is going to be by Wednesday, when maybe there's that meeting of the Bank of Japan. Maybe that can lead the yen to do something. We are literally in this rally since the middle of October, when they interviewed for the second time. So yes, strong moves up. As you can see, anytime price kind of is going up, it's going up quite strongly. And this is kind of the opposite, right? This move up on the end index is the move down on the dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, and so on. Technically, yeah, you can see that there is maybe on the 4-hour time frame, maybe the demand is actually maybe this one underneath it. But on the hour time frame, this may be the level, right? We kind of broke the highs from here and we created this level of structure. So let's see how price is going to behave around this level. If it's going to respect it or not, or if it's going to just yeah, kind of touch it and maybe resume higher, or start having a little bit more of a room to the downside, and price may go a little bit lower in here. This level of demand can be interesting as well, which is created from this level as well. So yeah, let's see what the yen index is going to do. But as we mentioned last week, this was a key level that we were looking for, and I paid special attention. If you remember, if you watched the stream 1 week ago, I was targeting exactly this low, right? So not exactly the demand zone, but the low that I was targeting, it was this one. Right, it was this lows in here, closed by this in here, and that's exactly what price took before the reversal. Right, just as I mentioned before, there's a little bit of, there's the key level in there, one low that kind of then initiates the move upwards. It leaves a little bit of space between that low and the next level, and that's usually the low that is going to be taken, even if price ends up that kind of reacting from the demand or not. That's another story, but at least that level is going to be taken. That's where you should be kind of waiting until price touch that. Sometimes it's going to create a perfect double bottom in there, pretend it's going higher just to finally take it, and then goes up. And yes, this was the trend line in here that you could see. More obvious than this, there's not exactly a better approach than you can see from this level. And this supply in here had already been taken by this one, so not many orders in there. There was actually a remaining of this supply in here, which was used on the opposite side, maybe, right? Yeah, most likely. So this is the new supply level that is created in here, right? As you can see, and you can see how it reacted, right? So we had this supply that was taken in here, right? So this supply has been taken. With this high created in here, we created a new supply level in there. Then we have this beautiful approach. Price just basically taking every single thing, every single supply in there. Go, break high. And yes, this could be one of the first targets from this move to the upside, with the final target maybe above it. And as you can see, this supply at this point is not being respected. Price actually kind of comes from a good demand zone of good level on the left side, and it works on the opposite side. All right, so if it is ignored, we actually kind of create or leave a demand zone in alignment as well with this supply, and you can see how beautifully price spiked in there and then just continue to the upside. So it was still an important level. This was still kind of a valid supply level, but it's a level that is not to be used as a sell. It's actually to be used on the opposite as a potential walk. So keep track of those levels still. Don't completely ignore it just because you see being broken to the upside. Keep track of them and you'll see how beautiful it's going to be reacted in the future on the opposite side. Yeah, that's for the yen indices. Now let's go back to the major FX pairs. So yeah, let's start with euro. All right, euro, right? So this is where we were. Actually, where were we before? This is where we opened. Yeah, right. So yeah, well, 1 week ago, when we did the stream, personally, and as you remember, I was bullish because I didn't like anything inside here, and I could definitely see price creating now new highs. There was a level in there that I could still see as a short within here. Actually, price reacted from there exactly somewhere in here, and then this was the big discussion for me, right? So when price eventually take the highs and it retraced, it never took this low. So this low in here, it never took this one, and because of that, I never looked for a short on the euro. I waited, price kind of retested 50 times this high. It never really did anything until finally it breaks through. It breaks through during the CPI. It literally kind of spikes through it during the CPI, if I'm not mistaken, and then kind of goes down, but it keeps not breaking lows. The lows keeps not being broken. Price continues to go higher. Or is this the CPI? No, it's the CPI. So yeah, I just continue to try to avoid too many sales in there, based on this level not being broken. A little bit similar on the gold. Gold was literally almost the same thing. If posted about on his Facebook, I was looking for a sell as well. What did he did? What did he post? What was he post? Yeah, anytime I see a low not being broken, that kind of it should, especially when you're still like in this bullish momentum. Yeah, I'm always cautious in looking for sales. I was aware that this level in here was still fresh, actually where price reacted in there. But yes, I'm concerned. And even if you break this low, this yes gives me kind of opens the door to go a little bit further down, but we can still even fake out the high before actually we have the final turn, right? That can still happen, and it happens more often than not. But yes, without even breaking the low, I'll definitely stay away from this. And yes, after that, price just continues to go higher. And now where we are on the euro. So we asked why it was a good sell at first. All right, yeah, I like the level, especially after the creation of this high. We talked about that level already 2-3 weeks ago, of why it was actually still valid. You can see how these left shoulders and stuff, and most likely maybe price had already reacted from there in the future. Maybe. So yes, where is euro now? I think if I didn't mention that still on this stream, I've been mentioned already with a few guys that I've targeted, or I'm looking actually, there's maybe something in here, but I'm literally targeting above these highs, above the highs from 6th of April, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6th of April, something in there. This high in here that you can see, it already broke these highs in here on the left side, if I'm not mistaken. Just go there, but I think it took, yeah, maybe didn't. Okay, maybe didn't. Maybe just took this one. Okay, interesting. But yes, as you can see, there's literally this space in here, and I'm literally going to be paying attention around this level that is still fresh. Price has this little strong demand as well that kind of should have respected price to the upside after it broke these highs, but never did. It created this level in here, and this level is literally left behind because none of these highs, we have 1, 2, 3, like I don't know how many highs we have in there, maybe 7 highs, getting closer to that level, not managing to break above it and leaving this level behind. So that's exactly one of the key levels that I'm looking for. At this point, euro is reacting from something in there, which was also a good supply level in here. So it reacted from this level and then kind of dropped. That's where it dropped yesterday, during yesterday's session, maybe a little bit above it. That could happen. Yep, that could happen. Yeah. So at this point we have kind of this triple top. Basically price has almost taken every supply in there. There's one extra above this one, and there was actually a really good entry yesterday on the euro to look for shorts. We had even broken these lows. There's a really good entry in there, and there's maybe a new opportunity as well to occur. Let's see how price behaves around this level. It has been already touched in here. This low, this reaction here again below the low, this demand zone, kind of getting really close to this level that was broken. So yes, a little bit similar to the dollar index. Maybe these highs that I mentioned from the 6th of April, maybe the same thing of those lows on the dollar index that maybe price can go and take. Meanwhile, there's maybe still some opportunities in here to look for some kind of reactions to the downside, right? So even the best scenario to be for the euro continue to go in a compression level until it gets closer to that level for then to the final turn, and maybe in that moment we can have a deeper retracement. What a deeper retracement means could mean all the way back to where we opened this week, basically maybe recovering all this strong bullish candle, maybe again targeting these highs in there, yeah, going somewhere in there, and maybe recovering and going maybe all the way back to here, or even all the way back to there. Yeah, and then let's see if it wants to continue to go higher or not, or if there's a little bit more room to a deeper retracement. But yes, for now we're going to be targeting those highs in there for the euro. Yeah, there's literally something in here as well. So we have all these now lows accumulated as well. Maybe some reaction in there. Eventually something in here. It's going to be interesting to see what the euro is going to do. On the 4 hour, there's not exactly fresh orders in there, but on the lower time frame, there's maybe something still in here to be used. Yeah, so let's see how the market's going to open as well this Monday. We was asking why it's a good sell at first, and after that, after CPI retrace, you go long. So you went long on the CPI? Yeah, good. Great. Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for on the euro. And let's see if the euro index continues to move down. That can be also in alignment with maybe euro going a little bit farther down. Yes, we do have all these highs, almost a triple top in there. So yeah, why not before that turn actually going a little bit, why not taking these highs before actually maybe turning. Oh damn it, I actually closed the euro now. Yeah, so pound, what are you looking at pound, right? So pound, if you remember the analysis from all these previous weeks, yes, targeting this low, we even created a double low in there, and then price kind of goes and reverses during the NFP, reacting a little bit from this level of demand. And what I mentioned was all this was compressed, right? We even managed to start breaking some highs along the way, right? And all this was compressed. until finally we have the turn. And my target, as I mentioned, it was literally for price to go above this level and can now start going a little bit higher. But at least above this level and above this level, above this high, that's maybe opportunity to look a little bit for a retracement before maybe price continue now to fill the space that is created after breaking above this high. And this is a little bit what happened. Another thing that I mentioned on the pound, if you remember from Tuesday and last week, especially Tuesday webinar, live stream, is that this range, this retail demand zone in here, this was the most important zone as well that I wanted to see being broken to the downside in order to maybe continue or look a little bit further down, but it was not, right? So price literally during the CPI data, it spiked there. It took the extreme orders of the demand zone in alignment with this level. It went higher, kind of retested one more time, didn't break once again, and it now continued to move higher. And you can even see that during the CPI, actually just before the CPI or during the CPI, we actually broke slightly the high in here of this compression, and then we went all the way down, took these lows, but reacted from the extreme of this. And now let's see what's next. It's kind of fighting in here. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to move a little bit more to the upside in here, but let's see how price now reacted from here on the closing. We have this demand. Let's see if price doesn't go a little bit in here. That it looks like there's something in here, but yes, higher time frame view in here on the pound. It kind of doing what we predicted, what we have been predicting it, with the compression, price going eventually and turning and filling out this space with this compression level, and now going yeah, let's see what's happening next. Price is reacting a little bit from this level, has a chance to go a little bit higher. Eventually, I'm not going to, if price starts approaching close to these levels, I'm not going to be looking for too many sells in there. I'm actually looking for price to go a little bit higher towards that level. Basically, price has reacted from this supply in here, that all of that has been taken. We even break out this level. So yeah, I think I'll be, even though we have this previous low, which can be important, I think I would like to see price taking this high and then maybe turning, but there's maybe some reactions from the lows in here. So pound maybe a little bit higher. This kind of is taken in here. Yeah, creating all these stops, going a little bit higher, and then maybe moving a little bit down once again. Yeah, the demand was still intact, right, at GU. It's true, and he never broke it, right? And that's why kind of it's important to pay attention to the extremes, right, of the levels, because if you just focus on lows, you would have turned, and I imagine many people turned bearish. Something that we also mentioned, I don't know again if it was in here. Yeah, I think it was during the Tuesday stream, right? I mentioned that opposite to the euro never broke the low, right? But the pound, and actually, but the pound actually had broken this low, which was a little bit weird. Like you have mixed indications in here. So we have the pound breaking the low in here, kind of showing a little bit more room to the downside to the extreme of the level, but the euro respected the low. And then the day after on Wednesday, it was a little bit of a weird session, because you had the pound kind of fighting these levels in here and going down, and you have the euro going up. Like it was a complete separate behavior that you usually don't see happening between a pound and the euro. They kind of move a little bit in the same direction, even though different lengths of the move and maybe different strength in the move. But in this case, it was the complete opposite. We see euro going a little bit higher, or fighting it to go higher. We saw dollar index not going really lower comparing with where the euro was. Wednesday session was quite weird, to be honest, in terms of all those correlations that was going on. And eventually, if you just follow the PA and if you respect the PA, yes, pound eventually actually managed to create a new low in here, getting a little bit closer to this extreme. Again, the extreme, it was left behind in here at this demand zone, which eventually is going to, it went there to be touched, right? While the euro never even managed to break that low, and it stayed always a little bit farther away from the low. So yeah, it was a little bit of a weird session on this week on the pound. Yeah, more room to the downside. Eventually, it finally reached this destination that we talked about. And yes, I'm looking a little bit to go higher. And as I was mentioning before, if you actually look for breaks of lows to make your decision in terms of, okay, now I'm bearish because price was kind of going up, down, up, and now it broke lows. We have a new lower low in here, so now kind of going to shift directions. Yeah, if you just follow that without really looking at the zones themselves, they're going to be led into incorrect information. So pay attention to the zones as well. Like, it's not just because you broke a low that price is telling you that Victory is going to go all the way down, right? Look for the extremes of the levels, and yes, if those extremes are broken, then we have further information. But yes, every single detail of breaking a low, it still is an information. But then, where is the target? To be just here. It's not down there. This is the pound. Yeah, a little bit maybe more room to the upside. It was not personally, it was not a pair that I followed that much this week. I didn't really like the moves on the pound, so it was not really my main focus. Complete opposite if you actually looked at the pound yen, for example, or even the euro pound. It was a little bit more something that I was paying attention to. We managed to break these highs, kind of went all the way back. These highs also kind of occurred, or the retrace to the downside occurred as well, and the euro index kind of broke that compression on Wednesday. Yeah, natural move to go to after breaking highs. Yeah, just go back to the same demand, and we're in a bullish zone in here, maybe until price gets a little bit closer to that level. Again, even looking at zones, price never really broke this demand zone, kind of broke this low and stuff, but the demand zone itself, like the extreme, was never really broken. And we had broken these highs, right? So kind of the signal to go higher was there, and we never broke this level. So yes, pound maybe we'll see where it wants to go to. A little bit choppy. It's not the cleanest either, but we'll see. Aussie, what is the Aussie doing, right? So yeah, we had that talk between, yeah, on the 4-hour time frame. It may have looked like that this could have been a break below. This is the tricky ones. When you break a low maybe on the 4-hour, which usually gives me a little bit more. I tend to focus a little bit more actually on the higher time frame moves. But then if you actually pay attention in the lower time frame, the extreme or where this compression started was actually in here. It was not on the 4-hour low, but in the zone and a little bit underneath it, which starts with this low. This is where kind of the separation starts between this momentum in here and where this compression starts in here. So in reality, I mentioned there was a little bit of a question mark in that regard. Not in goof on the lower time frame, in goof on the bigger picture. So it's going to be able to keep an eye on in the future. Eventually, now that we moved away from this level, in the future when price comes here, I'm no longer going to be looking for longs in there. Price is still reacting from a good level. So there were a few good supply levels. First it was this one in here. Price reacted from there, and now it then eventually broke it, and now it's reacting from that level. It went all the way back to respect the next demand zone that was in there, created during the CPI, as you can see. Again, price in here, price reacted. Let's see if there's something in there. It was another one. Yesterday, all the pairs kind of moved down in alignment. So yesterday it was a good correlation day with the dollar. Yeah, Aussie, it's a tricky one. Eventually could go even out the way and take these highs and go even retest something in here, or it can even target maybe all the way until this level, and even fake out this double top in there. Of course, there are levels before that price can go and react from. So we have this high. This is where price is reacting now, and maybe where this high reacted from, there's maybe a better level just above it that can be used to fake out that. Yeah, maybe it could occur. don't have my phone with me. Yeah. Muzani, what do you think about the Aussie? Where are you looking for? So yeah, price had reacted from this supply. So the higher high that you can see on the right side, it reacted from this veto decision in there, right? You can see this veto supply pressed and compressed, but the other one is in here. So you can even have a fake out of the higher high of, how many pips is this? Like 5 pips, something like that. Maybe fake out that level and then return and then kind of go down. Maybe that could be a short opportunity in there for the Aussie. Going to this level in here, a little bit closer to 0712, so 07013 maybe, and eventually you can take these ones and go even higher, and you can start looking for new levels. So yeah, the Aussie has been one of the major effects that has been going higher. The situation in China as well is getting better, so it's helping as well the economy and the momentum in Australia. So yeah, why not targeting that level? It's moving in compression, the same thing. Target kind of looking at the dollar index, and maybe when the dollar turns, yeah, maybe most likely going to see the turn as well in the most FX pairs. So just still keeping an eye. If you are in this bullish momentum, and if you like to look for these trend continuation setups, maybe keep going. I think you have realized by now how my brain works, and I have much more tendency to look for sales. First of all, for some reason I prefer to look for sales, and secondly, I do like to look for reversals. That's kind of how I'm wired. But I do look for reversals as well as a long. So yeah, a little bit maybe more move to the upside. Question mark is, what are you going to do about this high, which you can literally fake out that level. Yeah, you can literally fake out that level and maybe go down after that. Yeah, we feel all the moves to downside, man. I still remember when I predicted this one. I think I even made a video about that on my YouTube channel. Yeah, all the prediction. Yeah, all the way to the downside. So what a journey it has been with the Aussie during this last year and a half. And you're getting close to the 50% maybe of this retracement. Yeah, I want to target this high for now. And that's for the Aussie. Again, Aussie yen in alignment with you can see how strong it has been based on the yen pairs, because we have been seeing Aussie going upwards, but the end, right? Beautiful move from that level, reaction, and now move to the downside, and we'll see how price is going to behave after that, right? So we had the break of this low, went a little bit higher, touched the base of this, kind of reacted from almost left shoulder from the demand in here, went higher, we kind of broke this high, but this was the supply in there, right? So we never really broke above the supply, kind of respected it, like the supply that created all this move in here. So let's see how price behaves. There's a chance that we may have a continuation to the downside, since you actually broke this low in here, and you may target afterwards actually this level in somewhere closer to this previous level of resistance in there. This was a nice demand, but this is where kind of the low spike to. But let's see what's going to happen. Maybe a little bit of a retracement, maybe price kind of maybe bouncing from here until continues and gets closer maybe to those lows in there on the end. Yeah. In Euro Aussie, again, a little bit similar, a little bit more of an range without this kind of, yeah, we have Aussie going up and Euro going up, most likely you're going to have these guys in a range like that's happening. I'm still looking at this level in here. Price never really got there. There's a chance still to kind of maybe spike in there and maybe continue to go down. Kind of broke this this point here. I don't think we have actually reached this the destination here, so there's maybe a little bit more room to the downside. And yeah, this could come just until here and then continue to go down until there. So yeah, but this move to downside in here, it's either going to be complete based on the euro, otherwise the Aussie needs to continue to go higher. We will see. And the yen pairs. Let's go back to the approach. Which approach? Which one are we talking? Right, so looking at the yen, dollar yen, and yeah, the move all the way from the NFP. Now, if you remember last stream, I mentioned exactly that, right? So we were talking about a few levels somewhere in here to look maybe for long opportunities around this demand zone, and just the same thing that it happened on the which pair I was looking for. It was exactly the same, I believe. The dollar, the yen index, right? So again, last week price kind of paused in here. We had broken this. No, actually, where were we? Yeah, price was still in here. I mentioned, yeah, let's look for something below these lows for a reaction for price to kind of retrace. That's what we were looking at last week. Yep, some reaction. And one thing happening here, right? So we had broken this high. So that's definitely a break in here. Could be to an engulf to the upside. But on the same token, at the same time, I mentioned, guys, I'm not really sure about this low. I don't think that this low is the final destination for the yen. I'm not really I don't really see any reason for price to from here make now all the move higher. When you have literally at least this level of demand zone on the daily time frame. That price kind of is magnetic attracted to it, or you can even take actually this low, which is already a break of this level, and price can actually even look for the next zone of structure before moving before going higher, right? So big question mark for me, it was around this low. I was concerned that there was a chance that price actually wanted to create new lows and going and getting closer to that level. So that was my main point of view. Again, when you had that turn on the yen index to the upside from that compression, it is exactly around this level, and you have the big sell off. And as I mentioned before, yes, this was a demand zone valid. We have even kind of a KM zone in here, as you can kind of see. This is a kind of a quasi model that you can, if you just trade that pattern by itself without really understanding the bigger pictures and stuff, you kind of were looking for a long in there. However, if you pay attention a little bit more to the approach and so on, and where actually the low is reacting from, to be aware of if this is actually going to work, this KM kind of become the opposite, right? This level that in theory was about to be a really good long opportunity, it actually became a really good short opportunity. You can see this week in here how price spiked in, not spiked, but how price went there and kind of it reversed straight away, exactly on the same line of the level that initially you were looking to look for longs. Somewhere in here, I think to somewhere in that we talked about, and you see price actually going up, down, reacted from there again, and it just moved lower in here. How beautiful that is. Price in there respected that supply in there, and there you go. So right, strong compression, price reacting from this level still in here. It was something that we also paid attention to as a continuation, kind of somewhere in here aligned with the break of this. There could be something in there. There you go. Price went there, all this compression down, previous level of zone there where price should have been respected. Now it was not, and this is actually one of the reasons why I pay attention to the approach, and I don't buy limits or sell limits anymore, just by looking at if the level is still fresh or whatsoever. Because I know that the level can still be important and relevant and fresh. The price can maybe just break it and actually work on the opposite side. So the approach for me kind of becomes more important than even the level itself. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but maybe trade it the other way. At this point, I can see that this level was left behind. Price kind of broke above this level. We respected now with all these highs, and this one was left behind. Somewhere in here in the future, maybe there's some kind of an opportunity. How big of a target you can expect from here? That's a question mark. Maybe price just to react from here all the way to this previous level of structure, and maybe just continues to go higher, or you can actually go all the way here and then maybe actually create new lows. We'll see what type of approach you have and where actually the lower low is going to be reacting from. We actually broke as well this high, so the yen is starting to break a little bit of a few highs and leaving a few zones behind. So there's maybe a chance to start maybe considering looking a little bit for a reversal. And yes, at this point we finally reach this final level in here, and of the base of this daily demand. However, there's maybe a little bit more orders underneath that price can go and react from, still within this level, maybe close to 127.098, something like that, maybe a little bit lower on the end before looking for a potential move higher, at least maybe retesting again this previous low in here, which is literally still fresh from this level. So is actually quite maybe a good level to look for. So that's the end. Again, the correlation with the yen index, it was quite strong. The yen index actually was kind of reacting from a demand. In this case, this one, it looks like it may look like it's not reacting from anything important. So it could be a little bit trickier if you're actually considering looking for sales in here. But by looking at the yen index, that was actually approaching that demand that we talked about. Yes, that was a good moment to maybe combining both of them. You have a strong bias idea of maybe what you can do. Maybe much more than if you are just looking at the dollar yen. Where are the other guys? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weekend. We never know what the schedule is for everyone during the weekend. For example, the timing of this stream is actually quite maybe not the best for today. It's actually going on the United City, just 5 minutes away from my home. I actually live 5 minutes away from Old Trafford. So if I open the window, I can even listen to the guys celebrating the goal even before it shows on the telly. So yeah, it's crazy. Now this morning it was just people arriving, getting to the stadium. So it's almost first half. I don't even know the score, and I do actually like football, and I like to follow Premier League. And at this point, actually, United is finally performing quite nicely, playing well, and City is a little bit on a struggle. And City needs to win, right? Otherwise, Arsenal may start running away. So yeah, maybe someone is watching the game. Yeah, yen. Dollar yen. If I look for sales, if price goes there, I may look for a little bit of a sell. I don't know if I'm going to be looking for break off or to test the lower lows. It depends as well where this low. So where this low is going to be reacting from, it's going to be quite interesting. At this point, we have this demand zone in there, or approaching this level. So when price was in here, I was not really satisfied, and I was still looking for more sales or this low to be broken. If price does react from this level, I'm not going to. There's no need to force the break of these lows at this point, right? It's a higher time frame demand level. If price wants to break it, perfect, but I'm not going to be looking to force the break of it. So I'm going to be cautiously actually maybe start looking for longs or any sell that I have with a conservative target at this point. Different story last week. Yeah, Euro Yen, again, same story as I mentioned. Euro index was doing the same. the end index was doing the opposite, and all of a sudden we have the reversal. Went all the way until there. This was the approach doesn't lie, right? The approach, when if you see kind of approach like this in compression, this is it's going to create or be one of your best trading setups. The same thing in here, how this approach the upside until eventually kind of turn. This originate maybe the easiest trades that you can expect in terms of then how price just moves and continues to move. Information in here, we had already broken this low, so even when you start that compression, when price is moving upwards, and then all of a sudden if you actually break a low without kind of reaching the next zone, and if you start the compression in here, this actually becomes a really interesting zone, because you already break a low, kind of starting an indication that you want to go lower. Let's pretend that the supply is a little bit above it, and you just continue to do like this. Eventually when you turn, you have a specific target. You don't even need to look for this lowest target. You can even actually start looking for the next demand as a final target, because more often than not, actually this low is not going to hold price on the in here. May respect a little bit, but eventually price goes below that. So yeah, even if, aside from the compression approach, if the compression starts with the break of a kind of a low on the left side, that's even better. That's even better. So yeah, the end again, great potential setup in here that occurred last Wednesday in alignment with the dollar, with the yen index and the euro index. Where are we going to in here? So we do have this this double low. We have this left shoulder that basically price is kind of showing some reaction in there yesterday at this demand zone as well. So this kind of a little bit of a key M in here that price never got there on the way as price was going away. As you can see, price pause in there, and you have this decision, and in here is quite yeah, some reaction. We had already that reaction, maybe an entry in there last in the evening yesterday. Yeah, let's see how price is going to do. There's a chance that you can again fake out this above all before looking for new highs, maybe going a little bit farther below there, or price can actually respect this level. This is a good level maybe to look for something, right? If you're selling from there, this could be maybe a good idea to start maybe closing the trade, or start paying attention to signs of reversal. How do you do that? Yes, you can maybe start paying attention to previous highs that may have broken. Price still moved quite a little bit in a strong momentum to the downside, starts pausing a little bit. We'll see, maybe a little bit more of a new lows. Yeah, keeping an eye on this level. Price can go there, retest, eventually can go even retest out that level again. So yeah, interesting at this point on the yen, euro yen, and the other yen pairs kind of similar. On the yen, just moved completely all the way to the downside. On the yen actually broke this point here. I think we can maybe have a little bit more room to the downside before continuing to go higher, because it literally kind of moved like this. It respected the high again, targeting this level quite nicely. I could see maybe new lows, but that we are at this demand, right? There's no reason to fight it at this point. But yes, looking left, we did broke this low. There's maybe a little bit more room to the downside. Try to find out where that level is in there. CAD. Yeah, CAD was another one that personally I could see still price going a little bit farther down. Yeah, it's reacting from this demand, so this demand is it was still fresh, and that week never really got there. We managed to break this high just before the turn, so this already maybe price showing up or showing a little bit some intention to make go higher. I've been mentioning that I would like to see this low be taken before that, but this is a demand zone that is still in there. Yeah, if you do break below this level, personally I'm going to be looking straight away below this low. For now, this can have some reaction. It already had it. Yeah, and now price is reacting from from those from that level again. So how this is spiked, this was kind of during the CPI, went all the way to react maybe from somewhere in there. Yeah, it's starting to, yeah, maybe some kind of compression one more time, maybe to create a new low. Now take kind of maybe this supply in here, create a little bit more of a compression until maybe taking this low and maybe can go higher, or you can even just continue the move to the downside. Maybe this can be just a continuation to the downside from this high. Yeah, and maybe this is just a continuation down. Yeah, a little bit tricky on the card. This is a good level. Looking for a little bit more than that. But yeah, a little bit trickier. I don't know what I'm looking for in here. Dollar franc Swiss. Yep. So I mentioned last week and that we finally kind of broke the lows, and I was looking for the lows to be broken. If you guys remember, we even, I think in the stream, I even talked about this little supply that was actually in there below these lows. This was the low that I wanted to see being taken before maybe a reversal. Price already went all the way up, kind of reacting a little bit from the supply that was still fresh within this level. Something interesting is that we saw such a still a bearish momentum on the dollar. However, price didn't really move that much. Actually, I think it was Wednesday. When it was? Maybe Wednesday. Wednesday, it was one of the strongest moves. It was the franc Swiss. We saw Euro franc Swiss going above parity for the first time since 6 months ago. And yes, we are seeing the dollar going and continue to go down, but you can see this dollar franc Swiss kind of holding it up within this range. I may still look for opportunities to go long if price gets closer to this level. I kind of still like where price actually reacted from on the left side, so I'm be open-minded to look for an opportunity and to look for the approach when price gets closer to this level. Maybe try to find a good long setup, right? Where price reacted from, kind of the base from this level. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen, if it's going to continue to kind of trade within this range. But yeah, I'll be looking for price to get a little bit closer to the lows to try to attempt any long on the dollar franc Swiss. I think could be something interesting in here to look to the upside. Again, all this still looks a little bit compressed. Even if you break below this now, the low in here can start looking a little bit compressed. Maybe something in there, all the way until, yeah, all this eventually higher time frame. We may have just broken into this compression, as I mentioned, but before maybe continue to move and maybe to feel the other extreme of the compression. Maybe there's a potential to look maybe higher before we do that. Yeah, so let's see if that opportunity comes on the dollar franc Swiss. And then gold, right? Gold is another one. Complete rally to the upside. We just took these highs, something to pay attention to. I think we talked about that already last week. The chance that all these highs could have been taken. All these looked compressed. It looked compressed for a long time, since even basically this supply zone, which was still respected in there. After that, everything in here was compressed. If you followed gold last year, you had noticed that on the way down, price was literally kind of spiking up, going down, spiking up, going down, spiking up, going down. Every single time trying to go higher, but just retesting the next level and going down after that, until we now finally got to the stage of breaking this level. And I'll be looking for maybe some opportunities to over reversal now that he finally broke this high, right? This is a daily high. This one was a weekly and monthly high in there. So yeah, maybe something somewhere in there there's going to be some opportunity to look for a little bit of reversals. Now, the way gold has been moving up is not as well just in a straight line. It looks like if you completely zoom out and you just look at 1 hour the daily candles, but in reality, intraday, you can see a lot of spikes up and down and so on and so forth, right? So this again was similar to the euro dollar. It was the level that I wanted to see being taken to the downside in order to maybe help to look for new shorts. That never occurred. Price respected quite nicely this level, so let it go up, let it continue to go higher. Price then respecting the huge CPI. Another demand zone in here kind of respected. Again, no break of that level, then no reason to look for another to a sell in here. Price which respected it and just continues to go higher. Again, maybe the sell that in theory you were looking for at around this level, just extend a little bit more, and you see that price eventually actually reacts there, but to the opposite side. So yeah, at this point, gold, this can be maybe a good level in here to pay attention to. Be careful with this level. If this level is broken, maybe we can start looking for the reversal. Of course, now we have kind of this triple top in here. Wait for it to be taken, and yeah. Again, a little bit crazy to start to looking for sales when gold is literally going higher. That's a little bit, as I mentioned before, I look at it, I look for reversals. But yes, in terms of trend continuation, yeah, anytime price gets closer to any key level in here, you can literally just continue to look for the move to the upside. Personally, I will be just looking for new fresh levels that are on the left side, paying attention how price is reacting from then, and then maybe there's something to look for. There's maybe this level in here is indecision. There's maybe even something in there as well to look for it. Eventually price can go and target these highs. Is this already broken, that one? Behind this 1958.36, 1958.36, 1958.19. So this high actually already took this one. So I'm actually eventually looking for price to go even above this level. Now there's maybe something in here, there's maybe something in there, or this one has already been taken. Maybe this one was already taken by this high. So now we have these left shoulders in here. There's maybe something in here that price can use a little bit to go down, but eventually I want to see price going a little bit above that level, going somewhere in there on gold, and then of course price maybe just continue to go higher. But for now, this level in here at 1931 something in there, or 20 something, 30 would be something. We have this low in there. Yeah, something in there as well. Keep an eye on. All right, so yeah, but I want to again continue to see price going higher. The price will just take another demand. Price just continue to do it. So paying attention to how price is approaching those levels. Is there any break of a low or not? Because even as price is going up, as you can see, there's maybe still moments to look for potential sales, right? So this is the kind of beauty of the market. Yes, price doesn't just move in a straight line. Price may do retracements and intraday levels, and then yes, if you just look at the daily candle, it just looks a bullish candle. Intraday there's movements to occur. However, manage your expectations of the targets. All right, maybe if you're literally looking for longs, maybe you can attempt to hold it longer. If you're looking for shorts, be a bit more conservative. Oil, it was another one that we talked about it. I was looking and targeting definitely this low in here as a potential reversal, and after the break of this high, the move kind of is in there. Yeah, where to? Kind of targeting somewhere in here, right? Even I think someone asked me about oil last Tuesday, and that was my take of looking a little bit maybe to the upside. Now I'm aware that this demand actually was never taken yet, so it's still fresh in there, and yeah, price has been reacting from this level recently. There's maybe something underneath this low that price can still go there, but at this point reacting nicely from there. So we'll see how price now is going to react as soon as it gets in here. Maybe all this positivism is also kind of the way the market has been reacting, and the index is going up and everything going up. Maybe the fears of recession is not maybe so much visible at this point. Even on the Eurozone has been kind of revised to the upside from the major investment bankers, their predictions. So we'll see. But yes, positive in here. China as well coming out after such a slow year with COVID restrictions and whatnot in China. We have seen this oil moving higher. Yeah, key level to look at in here. Next week for sure we're going to approach that level. What else? I think I covered everything. Yeah, Bitcoin, we can take a look at crypto, right? What's going on in here, right? It's time to kind of delete every single line that I have in here. All the way back to react from this level in here. What a rally it has been these last 3 days. Basically from 17k to all the way back to 21k. Again, is the 20k mark is going to become important again? Is this the moment is price? That's it. The world is being created and we are ready to rally or not, right? So all those, everyone is excited for sure at this point. That is trading crypto. Now is the moment to say I told you so and stuff like that. It's going to be a funny period in Twitter, on Twitter. Yeah. Of course, when you have such a strong rally, it can be a little bit tricky. Price can do almost the opposite, and a little bit like it happened here, right? When you have such a strong move to the downside, it can literally kind of be the same on the opposite side, right? If you don't really have much sustaining the move down, basically even price spiked all the way in here and took the supply on the way down and so on and so forth. Yeah, if you don't have that many levels, basically this was one of the last ones that price eventually took there. Aside from that, almost everything has been spiked all the way until there, or not even spiked, but no supply has been created. It's just literally moved downside. A little bit the same thing that we are having in here to the upside, right? Kind of, we may have something in here. Don't know if in a longer time frame there's something in there. Of course, right? Maybe even retesting this 18k mark. Eventually, if price does want to go over it for. We did took the high. You can see that the high from today actually took this high in here. It went above this mark. So yeah, we have a new higher high created in here on BTC. Yeah, next level somewhere in there, and then can maybe even continue to go higher. And let's see when eventually gets in here. That can be interesting, right? This is the most recent high since August, after the big drop that we had in the summer, in June. So yeah, of course, this level in here can still also play some kind of level importance, but in here can be also something interesting to look at. So yes, we did break this level. Maybe yes, after breaking that level, we can go maybe a little bit down, and then resume to move up. But yeah, what a move on the crypto space. Yeah, again, don't think that price will just skyrocket to the moon. Be responsible with the type of trades that you are taking. A longer time frame, is it a swing position? Is still kind of day trading this or not? But yeah, keep paying yourself along the way. Last thing you want is to be, I don't know, how much in profit, and then all of a sudden price just reverse and you almost don't, you let just profit go away without you. Ethereum hasn't broken the high, but again, the kind of move that occurred, similar stuff, strong water candle on the opening this morning. in here. The move, interesting enough, Ethereum has been respecting this low since the 7th of June, 8th of June, went all the way there. So yeah, could be targeting somewhere in here. There's literally still fresh orders or fresh supply somewhere in there, going a little bit in there as well. Could be an option. And yeah, when you have again such a strong move to the upside without creating some structure along the way, that can be risky, because the opposite can also occur quite fast. The move to the opposite side. This level can be interesting in the future. Somewhere in here can also be interesting to look for longs. I don't really know what to say about this big spike, right? Maybe on the lower time frame we can find something. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the market is back basically, right? So 2023, for some reason everyone is enthusiastic. The bullish momentum is here. There's been 2 weeks full of bullish momentum in the market, which is great. Let's see for how long this is going to be and how to happen. Yeah, CPI again, another date, the data that came lower, or maybe 3-4 months now in a row, 6.5. Even though the core CPI actually went higher month to month. We'll see what the Fed's going to do, if this euphoria is being justified or not. Guys, thank you for being here with me. I think I basically covered everything that I'm looking for. Maybe continuation a little bit to the downside on the dollar and beginning of the week, and then may have some reversal on the pound as well, maybe a little bit higher, euro as well. Again, I'm targeting those highs from the 6th of April. There's maybe something in here that price can still react and can be used to push price down. But yeah, so eventually I would like to see some move in there. What else? And indices as well, maybe a little bit up before maybe turning down. Gold, it's going to be another one that I'll be paying attention to. I'll be following price in terms of the approach. If I start seeing some bearish PA, that could be a good sign. Again, waiting for the right moment, it's important. And the N pairs, right? The N pairs has been one of the most volatile ones, kind of easier ones to trade as well, because it has been kind of just moving up and then kind of just moving down without too much ranging in between. And we may have a turn to the upside now on the N pairs throughout this week. So yeah, keeping special attention in there as well. Yeah, thanks Muzani for being here today. It was just you and me. Anyone else that is watching maybe the recording afterwards, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Obrigado.